Hey, what's up, brand builder? Okay, so let's talk about professionals transitioning to entrepreneurs, right? Over the last year or so, I've increasingly seen a lot of professionals in the process of transitioning to become their own bosses. So they're in the process of giving up their jobs or, professions, and then trying to become entrepreneurs, either launching a service, usually a product, something probably related to their passion, and then trying to make that into a business. Now, I coach a lot of professionals who are trying to, transition into being entrepreneurs or solopreneurs. And I wanted to talk about three things that I find as bottlenecks that need to be sorted out if you want to be successful, if you want to transition successfully from being an employee, a professional, working for someone, to launching your service or product, running your own business and making it successful. Now, when you're working for somebody, you're in a job, 9 to 5, 9 to 10, whatever it is, the temptation is always that the grass is greener on the other side, right? So entrepreneurship is something that looks appealing. You hear stories of people making it big, people crushing it. And then this inner entrepreneur, everyone has an inner entrepreneur, just like an inner critic or an inner moaner. Everyone has an inner entrepreneur. And this is the entrepreneur that sort of raises the head, when you're watching a movie or you are getting a service and you say, hey, this could be done better, or this should be done like this, or this product could be better, or this problem could be solved through a product, so on. So that is the inner entrepreneur, because at the end of the day, an entrepreneur is nothing but a problem solver, right? It's someone who's trying to find a solution or provides a solution to a problem that a bunch of people are having and then making money off that. Now, the problem with this inner entrepreneur is that inner entrepreneur is working at the creative level, is working at the inspirational level, is working at the problem/solution level. But being an entrepreneur is much more than that. In fact, that problem/solution level is a tiny part of it. I would say probably just 25%. It's 1/4 of the pie. The other things are building the business, building the brand, getting customers, marketing, sales, running the business, profitability. There's a ton of other things. So the first bottleneck that I found coaching, a ton of entrepreneurs the last couple of years since the pandemic, a lot more people are actually jumping ship. Now, some of them are successful. Most of them are not successful. And the first bottleneck that I've observed is that professionals or employees trying to launch a service or product only think of the problem solution. The thing that because they've identified a problem and they have a solution, and this solution could be because of their passion. For instance, you've seen your kids, struggling with something, and then you thought a product might solve this. And I'm sure there's lots of other kids and their parents out there that are struggling with that particular problem. And you're thinking this product could solve that. Fantastic. It's the same as that. But that does not mean there's a business in that, right? So by the time I coach or they come to me, they're already along that journey. So they've already, a lot of them actually have already quit their jobs and are already into this journey. They've already invested a little bit of money or more, a lot of money. They're already probably past the prototyping phase. They already have a product in their hands, and then they realize, oh, hang on, this is not what it is. This is not what I thought it would be, right? That leads to the second bottleneck, which is how do you transition from somebody else taking care of the finance, the marketing, the sales, all that, into you managing all those, or rather that professional or that employee managing all that, right? So the first bottleneck is the problem solution just doesn't mean it's a business. If you have a problem and you have a solution for that, or you have a passion for something, you're good at something, doesn't mean there's a business for that. It's completely different. You could do that as a hobby, but doesn't mean it's a business. The second one is reaching, or rather building out that business. Now, building out that business means that you have to now split your time and resources into two different aspects. One is, of course, the product or service you're trying to build. So you're prototyping it, you're trying to find manufacturers, you're picking materials, you got a prototype, you see problems, you go back to the drawing board, you go back to your prototyping company, you're finding maybe a company in a manufacturer in China so that you can make it cheaper, blah, blah, right? So that is one aspect. And the other is actually building your brand. Even before you build your business, you need to be building your brand, right? And the third bottleneck is, of course, building that business. So the second bottleneck is building the brand. You will not build the brand when you're prototyping, when you're creating the product or service. And the third bottleneck is building the business. That is the marketing. You have a brand, you have a product, let's say. The marketing. How do you reach your target audience? What is the TAM, the total addressable market? And within that, what is your ICP, ideal customer profile? You may not have done that. You may not have identified all this. You may not have a brand message that talks to your ICP. You may not have a strategy that positions you so that your ICP is attracted to your product or service. So this is two different things. And the third thing is, of course, running the business, fulfillment, shipping, handling customer service, refunds, the business side of things, taxes, money. There's so many different things. So how do you handle this? How do you work these out? So when I coach employees who are trying to launch a service or product, the first thing I do is, of course, if they come to me at an early stage, it's pretty straightforward. So let's talk about it at an early stage, right? That makes it easier for the purpose of this video to identify what can be done. The first thing is that don't try to do everything by yourself. I know it might sound like an uncomfortable thing, but the first thing you need to do is try and find a partner, a business partner. Collaboration and partnership is the name of the game. Going at it alone is not the name of the game. It was in the days of the past, right? Prior to the pandemic, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. In fact, I mean, if you look at any of the successful startups out there right now, typically 90% of them have always had co-founders, right? So my first kind of, when I coach my clients, is to help them, first of all, make that jump psychologically. Make that jump to believing and understanding that you need a partner. First of all, not only in terms of helping with the business, but also to mitigate the risk. Find someone who is interested in your product or service, the idea behind it, can see the potential, which means that you need to build up a good business case. See, already you set yourself on the right path, because if you're doing it by yourself, you will hardly create a business plan. You will have a rough idea on a napkin maybe, or maybe not even that, it's in your mind, but you will never take the time and effort to create a business plan with the total addressable market, whom you're targeting within that market, how you're going to address the pain points, the problems, how your product or service fits that, what kind of money is involved, how you're going to price it, what kind of profitability, what kind of revenues do you expect in the next 1, 2, 3 years, what are the milestones, all these things you would think if you're looking for a partner. Even if you don't create a business plan up front, when you're reaching out to partners, these are the questions your partners will ask. So let's say you have a friend, you and your friend have always been thinking about, guy, we need to start a business. Let's do something, right? So now you say, listen, I have a great idea. Look, my kids, they've been suffering with this. And this is a product that I think, and I've already tried it out with them, the small DIY kind of prototype, and there's a lot of potential in this. I think there's lots of parents out there who would appreciate a product like this to help their kids address that problem. Now, would you get in with me on this? The first thing they're going to say is, okay, first of all, what kind of an investment would it take? Then you might say, well, see, this is where you're coming in, the brand building process. Okay, we need maybe X amount for building the brand, Y amount for building the product, and Z amount for, launching the product, marketing and all that. Okay, what about profitability? When do we make our money? And so on and so forth. So seek out a founder, co-founder, a partner, someone who can believe in your vision, in your mission for this product, for this service, for this brand. And make sure that they can also make a financial commitment. That is very critical. It's hard, but it is critical. Do not launch this business or do not go into this till you have that, till you have a partner who can commit financially. It might take a year, it might take 2 years. In fact, that's the right way. In the meanwhile, don't quit your job, okay? And don't just spend whatever little money you have on the product or service. mitigate the risk, the financial risk, and get a partner so that they have skin in the game and you work together. Okay, that's the first thing. That's the first, really the thing you need to do before anything else. Second, build the brand before the product. Yes, I mean it. The product prototyping could be going on in the background, but focus attention, focus your money, your resources on building the brand first. Now, a lot of people might say, well, you know what? Okay, let's say we spent $10,000 building the brand, right? So we got a brand. I don't mean the logo and the visuals. I mean to say a brand. So a brand essence, a brand story, a brand that stands for something, right? That's what I mean. So let's say they spend $10,000, $15,000 building that. And then they're working out the prototype, and then they come to realize that maybe this is not a good idea. Would that money be wasted? Yes, it would be. But that's very rare. Actually, the chances of that happening are rarer than the chances of you spending a lot of time, effort, money on the prototype, getting a product you're ready to launch, and then building the branding, by which time you don't have any money left, which means you don't have a good brand and you don't have money left for marketing and so on. And your product doesn't actually reach your audience. So it's a fine balance. I understand that, but you need to be willing to sacrifice. You need to be willing to risk $10,000, $15,000. It shouldn't take more than that. $10,000. Come on. If you truly believe in your product, in your service, could you not risk $10,000? At the end of the day, you're not really risking it because you do have a brand. And you could sell that brand. Believe me, you could sell that brand and the idea and make your money back if it comes to that. But if you're so uncertain of your product, and in fact, if you're uncertain of that product, that if you're not willing to risk building the brand first, then I say, you know what, just go back to the drawing board, spend more time on the idea itself, not just the prototyping, on the idea itself. Okay, so the first one is get a partner, someone who can, who believes in the idea, who can be on the journey, who brings value to the table, of course, but who also brings money to the table, who's willing to commit. Number two, build your brand first. Or rather, build your brand simultaneously as you are building your product, right? And the third one is invest in the right marketing. The biggest challenge that I work with with my coaching clients, employees who are transitioning into entrepreneurs, who have a product or service that they're trying to launch and quit their 9-to-5 job or have already quit their 9-to-5 job. One of the biggest challenges is marketing, because and I'll talk about the examples of people who come to me and they already have this. So they've the product that is ready to launch. They have a website. They've already built the website and all that. And now they're saying, oh, well, you know what? I don't know. We're not getting any traffic. Nobody's buying our product. We paid, X amount to so-and-so influencer. We've spent a little bit of marketing. Nothing is happening. That's because marketing has to be intentional. You need to market properly. And that means you need to outsource. So even though it's the third point, this is a point that these are not one after the other. Okay. So outsource your things, right? Things that move the needle, outsource them. Don't try to do them by yourself. Set aside, allocate budget for outsourcing. Number one, your brand building should be outsourced to branding experts. Your marketing should be outsourced to marketing experts. Well, you might say, well, and this is what most of my coaching clients say, Mash, but we don't have the money to outsource it. Okay. So what is the plan then? You've already spent $30,000, $50,000 on this product so far. And to make that $50,000 back, let's just say average, it's a $500 product, 100 clients, right? 500, 100 clients. So it's been 6 months, a year. You only had about 10 clients. What is happening there? You need to spend money to make money in marketing, at least $1 in, $1 out. So you put $50,000 in to make $50,000 out. At least that is the initial kind of outlay. Because what happens is when that $50,000 is being spent on marketing to make that $50,000 back, $1 in, $1 out, it's not just the $50,000 you're getting back, but the snowball effect. Because for the next $50,000, so let's say you get the $50,000 back, you put that $50,000 in again into marketing. So you don't use it. You don't use it to take a vacation to the Bahamas or get some new radials on your new GT or your Tesla X model or whatever, right? And you're not throwing lavish parties and eating caviar. No, you get the $50,000. So you put in a $50,000. You get the $50,000 out of that. You put that back in. The next time, that $50,000 gives you two. So again, $1 in, but you get 2 out. I'm just speaking roughly, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could be $1 in and then you're getting $1.10 out, right? Which is still good because incremental, because you put that back again, next time it's $1.50 out. Then you put that back again, it's $2, $3. So if you don't outsource these things, right, and you're trying to do this yourself, you're never going to make a significant impact on that vision. Now, of course, if your vision is very small to begin with, this video is not for you, okay? So if you're thinking, I don't want all that. I have a product that I created. I think it solves a problem, and I'm going to sell this product just for a comfortable lifestyle, right? I don't need more. I just want to make, I don't know, $50,000 a year, $70,000 a year, and I'll be happy. That's fine. Good for you. Kudos. In fact, I appreciate that. I appreciate people who think like that, who can be happy like that. Now, it's got its own problems though, right? Because when you think like that, what happens is you're not building wealth, right? You're making money just to pay the bills and to live a comfortable lifestyle. But what happens when there's global events, a recession comes up, a war breaks out, something happens and your primary source of income dries up? Your product, for example, could just die in the water because, I don't know, new regulations have come out and you cannot sell that product anymore. Or competitors jump in and you're making 1,000 sales a year and now you're making 10. Okay, what happens then? You're going to go back and find a job? Or what you going to do? Take on debt? So while having a low threshold in terms of ambition is good, it'll give you, I guess, a little bit more peace, it's a dangerous game. Either way, it's a dangerous game, right? So I'm talking to you, an ambitious professional employee who wants to launch an ambitious brand. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, if you're already launching, or if you're someone who is transitioning, then contact me, right? Just send me a message on LinkedIn, follow me, and then send me a message, or hit me up on Twitter. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do so, because I'll be talking a lot more on how to transition from being a professional employee 9 to 5 to launching your own product or service and being an entrepreneur, a business person. And of course, if you have any questions, just drop a comment below and I will answer them. All right. Till my next video, prosper and find a partner. Do that right now.